Here's how to lucid dream in 15 minutes. Right, so wouldn't it be absolutely brilliant if you could lucid dream in just 15 minutes? And the weird thing is, that's kind of possible, but it's not what you're thinking. So today I'm going to teach you the lucid dreaming 15-minute principle. It's a really simple, really easy technique that will give you many more lucid dreams. Isn't it weird? Have you ever noticed how sometimes the easiest, most obvious solution to a problem is the one you're most likely to overlook? You'll spend all of this brain power trying to find complex solutions, complex answers, nothing will work, and eventually you'll give up, and then suddenly you'll realize that the answer has been staring you in the face the whole time. And by the end of this video, you might find that you've been doing exactly that with lucid dreaming, because there's this one concept, this one really basic, super simple, almost ridiculous idea that when you put it into place, just makes lucid dreaming easier. But to get an answer, you need to know the problem. So here's a complaint that a lot of beginner lucid dreamers make. They'll say something like this: I'm doing reality checks, I'm practicing them during the daytime, but I barely ever, if ever, do them in my dreams. Are reality checks a complete waste of time? Why don't they transfer into my dreams? And there are a bunch of useful and intelligent tactics to help increase the chance of performing a reality check in your dreams. Things like keeping a dream journal, looking for dream signs, and then performing a reality check whenever you see your dream sign in waking life. All very smart stuff, but it still doesn't seem to work quite as well as it could do. And there's a reason why, and you're going to go full Picard when you realize what it is. What's the frequency, Kenneth? Here's a question. How long is the average dream? And annoyingly, there's not a straightforward answer to this, but if you're being very rough around the edges, it's between 5 to 15 minutes. Most dreams last somewhere in that ballpark. Okay, so far, so obvious. So here's another thought. How often do you perform your reality checks? What's the frequency of your checks? So let me know your personal answer in the comments below. But for a lot of people, that's going to be a bit of a vague number because different things are going to trigger reality checks. It's going to depend whether something dreamlike happens, whether you see a dream sign. But on average, when I talk to my students, most people perform reality checks around once an hour. Right, so if you're asking, is this a dream, once an hour, and the average dream is between 5 and 15 minutes long, then we've got a bit of a mathematical conundrum that might be the solution to our problem. Let's get mathematical. Okay, so I hate mathematics. I've never been very good at it, but this is actually quite straightforward. So let's assume you're someone who's quite dedicated to lucid dreaming, and you're performing reality checks roughly once an hour, and your dreams last between 5 to 15 minutes. Well, the frequency of your reality checks and the target of your dreams have a bit of a mismatch. Because if you're having a 5-minute dream and you're performing a reality check once every hour-ish, then your actual chance, the probability of you asking, is this a dream, in any 5-minute period, is only 8%. And if the dream is 15 minutes long, that only increases to 25%. So already you're working with the odds against you. Because it means that even if you're having a reasonably long dream, 15 minutes, that's quite a long time in dreamland, there's only a 25% chance that you'll remember to perform a reality check in that time, because your frequency just doesn't match. If you don't ask, you don't get. So let's talk about YouTube for a moment, and I promise this is relevant. Most of us get annoyed when YouTubers ask you to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. But the reason they do it is because if they don't ask you to do it, they don't get it. Most people forget that that's even an option. So here I am right now asking you, can you please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so, and leave a comment? and probably this video will get more of those because I've asked. Now the same is true for lucid dreaming, because if you're not asking the question, is this a dream, and performing a reality check, then why do you think you're going to have lucid dreams? But also, how often you ask is important. So let's go back to YouTube. If a YouTuber asks in every video for people to like and comment, then they've got a frequency of 1 per video. But if they only asked every 5 videos, then they're not going to do as well because only 1 in 5 videos is going to get any kind of feedback. And the same is true for dreams. If your frequency of reality checks is once an hour, you would need a dream to last an hour to guarantee that you would ask the question in that dream. Intermission. I just need to say a really quick thank you to my channel benefactors, the highest level of membership here on the channel. Thank you to Command Baker, Rock Geezer, and Murat Yilmaz. And if you want to be mentioned in the next video, hit the join button and choose Channel Benefactor. The technique. Reality checks are important, but they're also a bit weird and varied. There are 2 types of reality checks. Micro checks, which are simple things like pinching your nose and trying to breathe through it, or looking at the time, looking away and seeing if it stays the same. Those are micro tests and you can do loads of those. But there's also reality checks where you spend a bit more time just questioning if this is a dream. Now for the 15-minute principle, we're essentially talking about micro checks, those very quick tests just to see whether you're dreaming. So with that in mind, here's the technique. The 15-minute principle. Step 1. Set the intention. At the beginning of your day, set an intention to perform regular micro-tests. And by regular, I mean roughly 1 every 15 minutes. So why 15 minutes? Well, hopefully it's relatively obvious by now. If you're in the habit of questioning reality every 15 minutes, if you have a 15-minute long dream, then you've got a 100% chance that you're going to perform a reality check. And if it's a 5-minute dream, you've gone from 8% to 33%. Step 2. Perform the test. Okay, so when the time comes, every 15 minutes, remember to perform a micro check, a mini reality check. And I know that once every 15 minutes sounds like a lot, but in reality, micro checks really are micro. They shouldn't take more than just a handful of seconds. In fact, I can perform one right now. I'm going to look at the computer screen, find some text, read it, look away, read it again, done. The text was stable, I'm not dreaming, therefore I can get on with my day. And the reality is you can do this kind of thing in the middle of a conversation. If you're talking to a friend and you think it's time for me to do a micro check, you can just scan the environment for some text and just see whether it stays stable. Step 3. Rinse and repeat. Continue to do this from now until the end of time. You're going to make your mind orbit in 15-minute periods around the question, could this be a dream? And then you're going to test that with a simple environmental stability check. And when you do this, you stop being someone who just randomly thinks about lucid dreaming every now and then, to someone who is a lucid dreamer, who is constantly returning to the possibility that this might be a dream right now, and you're doing it with a frequency that matches the average length of a dream, or at least comes close. So you're going to go from having just a handful of lucid dreams to many, many more. But also, because your mind is orbiting this idea that any moment could be a dream, suddenly you're more aware, you're more focused, you're more attentive to the moment. Step 4. Don't panic. I know this sounds like a lot of work and like it might be really time-consuming, but it's actually not at all. It might be for the first week or 2 as you build this new habit, but eventually you'll get to a point where you can't help but return to the question, and when you've reached that point, this becomes entirely effortless. And this definitely isn't time-consuming because micro-tests last about 3 seconds, so even in just 1 hour, you've only invested 12 seconds of your time, but you've just massively increased your chances of lucid dreaming. There are just 2 things you need to bear in mind. This isn't going to replace your standard reality checks, this is additional. And also, when you perform these micro tests, make sure you pay attention. Don't do them mindlessly, you have to notice the answer. And if you want to learn more about lucid dreaming, try watching one of the videos on the screen right now. I'll see you there.